And good morning, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Game Time with Kenny. Game Time with Kenny is in the house, and we are ready to rock and roll. Well, I'll tell you, I'm ready to see Iguodala against James Harden in the next round of the playoffs. But we're going to have to wait a little bit because of the fact that the Clippers did win Game Five in Oakland again. So we're going to have to wait till Friday to see if the Warriors can advance. But I'm ready to see Iguodala. Okay, James Harden, you want to get in front of my face? Well, I'm telling you right now, Iguodala says, okay, get out of my way, and I'm just going to slam dunk that basketball, and it's just going to be nothing but the bottom of the net. Oh, I'm so excited when Iguodala faces James Harden. Okay, James Harden, you wanna you wanna think you can defend me? Well, I'll tell you, I got other news for you because I'm gonna defend you and I'm gonna smack it right down in your face. How do you like that, James Harden? Are you ready for the next round? And are you gonna find a way to beat the Warriors this time around? If there's a game seven, it will be in Oakland this time, not on your home court. You have to go on the road this time. So if you want to advance, James Harden and the Houston Rockets, along with Chris Paul, you're going to have to prove it this time, and you're going to have to win on the road if you want to get it done. So, with that being said, I want to go through in this edition. I want to start off with highlights from yesterday's game. And I'm telling you today, I am so passionate and just ready for excitement. And we got a lot to cover. And but let's start off with the Jazz and the Rockets. Yes, James Harden and the um, Houston Rockets did advance with a victory last night, 100-93. James Harden did have 26 points. He had a little bit less than he did in the last game, but today in last night's game, he does have 26 points, and he led all scorers for Houston with 26, and he led all scorers between Utah and Houston combined with 26 points. In the losing effort, O'Neal for Utah came off the bench and scored 18 points. They were led in the starting five by Rubio, who had 17, Crowder had 15, Ingles had 11, and Donovan Mitchell could only muster 12 points in yesterday's game. Uh, He was, however, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, but he was 0 for 9 from downtown, and that really hurt the Utah Jazz yesterday. Uh, when you look at the Houston Rockets, Capella, he was 4 for 5 from the free throw line, but the Houston Rockets weren't really that good either from 3-point line yesterday. Probably the best player was House off the bench. He was 2 for 2 from downtown. But the Houston Rockets do advance with a victory yesterday. And so I want us to turn our attention yesterday in Oakland. The Warriors could not close out the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers did come back, and Lou Williams drops 33 points. We expect a better effort from him in yesterday's game than he did have in game four in LA, and he proved it. So he had one of his best games when it needed it the most, and he did come up with 33 in yesterday's game. So the Clippers, Gallinari had 26, Green had 15, and Patrick Beverley only had 17 points in yesterday's game. But Harrell came off the bench with 24 points, and Lou Williams off the bench scoring 33. That was the difference, was the play of Lou Williams in yesterday's game and how it propelled LA to the victory yesterday. Well, what can you say about Kevin Durant? He had 45 points in yesterday's game, 12 for 12 from the free throw line. He was 5 for 12 from downtown. I mean, he played 41 of the um, 48 minutes in yesterday's game. And he just was a monster in yesterday's game. Look at the stat line for him. He had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. I mean, an all-around effort for that guy. But it still proves that one man can't win it all. Draymond Green was held to 7 points. Bogut was held to 6. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson combined had 46 points. Steph Curry having 24 of those and Klay Thompson having 22. Off the bench, they didn't really get much production off the bench yesterday. They were led by McKinney with 7, Looney with 5, Livingston with 2 points, and Iguodala had 3 points yesterday. So Iguodala's 3 points came from downtown. He was 1 for 5 off the bench from the 3-point line. Okay, so will the Warriors close out in Game 6? Well, they had a wake-up call in Game 2. What did they do? They responded back in LA, and they won. They have another wake-up call in last night's game. They could not close it out in Oakland, but they need to go on the road, and they need to win it in LA. I think the guys get it done, and the Warriors, I believe, will win the next game and go into the next series against the Houston Rockets, with the first game being in Oakland. So as I said, James Harden and the Rockets, you think you had a series with the Utah Jazz and you had it easy, but not against the Warriors. Mark my words in this one. It's going to be a tough physical series. But when it all gets said and done, the Warriors are going to prevail in the end against the Houston Rockets. And they're going to prove once again that James Harden and Chris Paul and Capella, you're still a ways away. You will not have what it takes, I believe, to defeat the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series. Yeah, you may get a couple of them, but you're not going to win it all. So you're going to have a tough road trip when you get out into Oakland. Yeah, you're going to have a couple of days of rest in between. But I'll tell you, the Warriors are going to be ready when you come into their home floor, because they're going to be the monster, and they're the ones that's not going to give up their home court to you all. If you, James Harden, and you, the Rockets, want to win it, you're going to have to play full force all 48 minutes and never have a letdown. I just don't see that happening. There's going to be letdowns in games. You're going to let them get back in the game and stuff, and when you do, they're going to hurt you, especially in the paint and from downtown. All right, so when you look at tonight's action, there's only one game in the NBA tonight. The Denver Nuggets have a chance to close out the series in San Antonio, as they have the home court back after they won Game 5. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 2 p.m. for those of you in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone. The game will be in San Antonio. All right, turning our attention to the NHL. There was only one game. It was a Game 7. You know, you talk about great games. The previous night, Vegas goes down in double overtime to the San Jose Sharks, and they get eliminated 5-4. Well, let me tell you, the Capitals, who were the defending Stanley Cup champions, and they played Vegas in the Stanley Cup Finals a year ago. Both teams eliminated in a Game 7 in double overtime in the first round. The Capitals get eliminated last night 4-3 as they stun the defending champions in a double overtime win on the road. Wow, that is just incredible. As Holtby had 38 saves in yesterday's game, uh, Mrazek for the Carolina Hurricanes did come up with 34 saves in yesterday's game. Now you look at this. The Washington Capitals, at the end of the first period, after 20 minutes, they already had a 2-0 lead. At the end of the second period, they scored another. Carolina comes up with one. And they end up actually, Carolina scores two in the second period. So Washington scores two in the first, Carolina scores two in the second. They're down 3-2 at the end of 40 minutes. So you're thinking, if you're the Capitals, okay, we only got 20 minutes left and we're up by one. Let's just play with all we got and let's just get that go ahead goal to where we got that extra cushion and have that 2-goal lead. Well, that didn't happen. Carolina never gave up and they stood tall in the last 20 minutes of that third period, and they go into double overtime before they get the game winner, and Carolina wins in Washington 4-3. Holtby and the rest of the Capitals, they are stunned. They are livid right now, wondering what happened. How could that happen to us? We're the reigning champions. Well, Capital fans, we need to wake up and smell the roses today, because your team has been eliminated and there will be a new Stanley Cup champion, because the same two teams will not play each other this year. So 3 game sevens in the last 2 days. 2 of them go to double overtime. What a thrilling game sevens in the Western Conference and in the Eastern Conference that took place yesterday. Now, when you look at today's action in the NHL, 2 game ones will take place. Columbus, which had the 4-game sweep of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had the best record in all of the NHL, had home ice throughout, including the Stanley Cup Finals. They got eliminated in the first round. They will travel to Boston to take on the Bruins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1 p.m. for those of you in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone. And then Dallas will go to St. Louis at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, and 3:30 in the afternoon for those of you in the Hawaiian time zone. So turning our attention to baseball, when you look at the scores from yesterday, Kansas City defeats Tampa Bay 10-2. Miami Marlins go into Cleveland, lose 6-2. St. Louis defeats Milwaukee 5-2. Colorado defeats Washington 9-5. Oakland wins at home against Texas 6-5. A pitcher's duel in San Diego where the Mariners lose 1-0. San Francisco blanks Toronto 4-0. It was Atlanta over Cincinnati 3-1. Philadelphia over the New York Mets 6-0. Arizona defeats Pittsburgh 11-2. Orioles beat the White Sox 4-3. Boston beats Detroit 11-4. The Cubs beat the Dodgers at home 7-6. The Astros beat the Twins at home 7-1. And the Yankees do get the victory in Anaheim 6-5. So that's a look at that side. Now let's go to the NFL. Yes, today is the NFL draft. There will be 7 rounds altogether between now and Saturday. Now, the first round 2019 draft. Now, let's talk about the Oakland Raiders real quick. They've got 3 first-round draft picks, and they've got 4 picks in the top 35. They've got the 4th pick, they've got the 24th pick, they've got the 27th pick, and they've got the 35th. Now, if you're John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders, my advice, John Gruden, Do not trade any of your picks that you got. Use it wisely. Get the players that you need to build your organization up in Oakland and eventually Las Vegas. But before you go to Las Vegas, you need to build up a team. You need drastic improvement in so many different positions. Well, use these 4 picks that you got in the top 35 picks. Use it wisely. Get the best players out there. You've got such a cap that's open that you can spend money. So use it. Don't trade it up. Whatever you do. And the Raiders, they need to be a better complete football team in 2019. And if the organization and if John Gruden and the general manager and the owner and president of the operations of the Oakland Raiders do everything correctly, then they should have a good quality team in 2019. So if you're the Raider fans, I would encourage the Oakland Raiders staff, don't trade up your picks for anything, but use them again to your advantage, because no other team has 3 first-round draft picks in that first round, but you do, and you have a 4th pick within the top 35. So I want to see what you guys will do in that. Okay, so Murray does go to Arizona. They do select him as the first pick. So it is incredible to see how that is panning out right now. You know, there was a 99.9% chance that he was going to go over there. And that's exactly what happened. He did go over there. So Arizona fans, you're going to get a good quality player out of Murray. Give him the keys that he needs, and he's going to prove to be a great, great leader for you guys over there. So, you know, I would really go ahead and spend the money on him, because I think once he gets a good group of guys to play with him together and them being as one, it's going to be great. How awesome will it be? All right. We're running out of time a little bit, but I want to close today, and I want to do something a little bit different today. And I want to tell you about things that happened in sports history on this day of April 25th. And we're going to try to, as time permits, we're going to try to get them in as we can. In 1876, the Chicago Cubs played their first National League game, beating Louisville Rays 4-0. That was the first National League shutout on this day back in 1876. In 1901, Irv Beck hits the first home run in the American League. Also in 1901, in the last of the ninth inning, in the bottom of the ninth inning, Detroit Tigers, trailing by a 13-4 score, scores 10 runs to win one of the greatest comebacks in baseball history. The first game in Detroit. Wow, what a way to start off a first game in Detroit. You're half of the ninth inning, and you're at home, and you get 10 runs. That is amazing. In 1905, the latest day of the first-class cricket in an Australia season, New South Wales versus Queensland. In 1933, the New York Yankees player Russ Van Atta shuts out Washington Senators 16-0. In 1952, it was a 6th NBA championship between the Minneapolis Lakers, which is known as the LA Lakers now, but back in 1952, it was the Minneapolis Lakers. They beat the New York Knicks 4-3. Also in 1952, the American Bowling Congress approves use of an automatic pin setter. In 1962, the Cleveland Indians send Harry Chitty to the New York Mets for a player to be named later. On June 15th, the Mets send Chitty back to Cleveland. In 1964, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, The Toronto Maple Leafs beat Detroit Red Wings 4-3. In 1965, it was the 19th NBA championship between the Boston Celtics, which defeated the LA Lakers 4-1. Also in 1965, it was Betsy Rawls winning the LPGA Pensacola Golf Invitational. In 1971, it was Sandra Haney who wins the LPGA Bernie's Golf Invitational. In 1974, the NFL moves the goalposts and adopts the sudden death playoff. In 1976, it was the Chicago Cubs. Center fielder Rick Monday rescues U.S. flag from 2 fans trying to set it on fire. In 1976, also, India all out for 97 versus West Indies. Also in 1976, Jan Stevenson wins the LPGA Birmingham Golf Classic. 1977, the Cincinnati Reds tie a record of 12 runs in the 5th inning, beating the Atlanta Braves 23-9. In 1980, a couple of events take place. The Firestone World Bowling Tournament of Champions won by Wayne Webb. Also, the Oakland A's manager Billy Martin restrained by umpires from attacking a fan. In 1981, the Mariners manager Maury Willis is suspended for 2 games after ordering Seattle's grounds crew to enlarge batters' boxes by 1 foot. In 1982, it was Patty Sheehan winning the LPGA Orlando Lady Golf Classic. Also in 1982, the New York Yankees fire manager Bob Lemon. In 1985, for the second time, Wayne Gretzky scores 7 goals in a Stanley Cup game. 1989, the Pittsburgh Penguins player Mario Lemieux ties an NHL playoff record of 4 goals in the first period. In 1992, Firestone World Bowling Tournament of Champions was won by Mark McDowell. In 1995, the 257-day Major League Baseball strike ends. In 1997, the Seattle Mariners player Ken Griffey Jr. hits his 250th home run. In 2001, it was the San Diego Padres outfielder Rickey Henderson who breaks the career walks record established by Babe Ruth when he receives his 2,063rd base on balls. And in 2009, it was Matthew Stafford who signs a contract with the NFL's Detroit Lions for a 6-year contract that was worth $41.7 to $78 million in U.S. currency. And that is a look at what happened today in the day of sports, this day back on April the 25th. All right, so let's go back to the NFL. And what I want to do within the last few minutes that we do have, I want to go through week number 4. And if we have time, week number 5 of the NFL schedule. So let's go through that real quick here, as we are running out of time for today. And in week 4, it starts off with a Thursday night game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. And that'll be on Fox as well as the NFL Network. On Sunday, the NFL on CBS will have the LA Chargers at the Miami Dolphins, the Oakland Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee is in Atlanta, and the New England Patriots are in the Buffalo to take the Bills, or the Browns is in Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Those are the early games. They will have the doubleheader game with the Minnesota Vikings in Chicago as the late game, and Jacksonville and Denver, which is the late game. Fox NFL Sunday will have the regional action play with Kansas City at Detroit. The Washington Redskins are in Giants Stadium to take on the Giants. Carolina's in Houston. And a couple of late games. Buccaneers are in the LA Coliseum to take on the Rams. And the Seattle Seahawks are in Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals, with a new look at Murray to see what kind of an impact he will have in that game. The Cowboys and the Saints are the Sunday night game on Sunday Night Football. And Monday Night Football will be the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the byes being the Jets and 49ers in week number 4. And we do have time to do week 5, so let's go ahead and do that. And I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to the Cowboys and Saints game on that Sunday night in week 4. I think that's going to be the marquee game to watch for week number 4. All right, week number 5 starts off with a Thursday night game in Seattle, the Rams and the Seahawks. Sunday, Fox NFL Sunday will have the doubleheader with the Minnesota Vikings and New York Giants being the game in the early game. Tampa Bay is in New Orleans. Also, the Chicago Bears are taking on the Oakland Raiders. Arizona's in Cincinnati. Those are the early games. Again, the Bears and the Raiders, they are going to be playing internationally in that game. That's why it is an early game. The Atlanta Falcons are in Houston to take on the Houston Texans. And the late game is the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. Aaron Rodgers, another game that you get to see him play. And against the Cowboys in Big D. Some of the more memorable games have taken place, and some of the more tighter games between this rivalry has taken place in Dallas. And looks like hopefully we're going to see that one again when it comes to week number 5. The NFL on CBS will have the regional action play with most of you going to be watching the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Others will see the New England Patriots and Washington Redskins. Jacksonville will be in Carolina. And Buffalo will be in Tennessee. The late game is the Denver Broncos and the LA Chargers. Sunday night NFL, Indianapolis and Andrew Luck taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Monday Night Football will be Cleveland at San Francisco, with the Detroit Lions and the Miami Dolphins getting the bye in week 5. Well, I'll tell you what, there's some interesting matchups in week 5, but I'm interested in seeing in some of them, including that Thursday night game, the Rams and Seahawks in Seattle. I like to see that Monday night game, Cleveland at San Francisco, with Mayfield at quarterback. He's expected to be a lot better, and the Browns are projected to win their division. So it should be a real good matchup when they play in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium. I'm interested in that Sunday night game, Indianapolis at Kansas City. And I'm also interested in Baltimore at Pittsburgh, along with the New England Patriots at the Washington Redskins. Those are going to be some great matchups in week 5. Well, hey, I just want to thank all of you for watching this edition of Game Time with Kenny. I love your feedback. Please comment and send some comments, what you like about the show, what you don't like, and how can we improve it or anything. Let your Facebook friends know, Twitter friends know, send the link, let them support this program. And I want to tell you, I want to be much better than all the other sports programs that you do watch. And we're going to change things up for variety. And one of the things, as I said, what we want to do is we want to try to include this day in sports and what happened on that particular day itself. So we hope that you did like that today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel called Game Time with Kenny. And tomorrow morning, we will have our next edition right at about 6 o'clock in the morning. We were a few minutes behind today, but we'll try to get it started right at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific, and midnight Hawaiian Standard Time for those of you in Hawaii. Well, you have a great day, everyone, and thank you for all watching today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.